In previous tutorial, I have showed you how to use expanded, but I didn't really explain much about this. So let me explain now. So if this is our screen and we have a row which is taking the full weight, and inside that row, let's say we have two elements. We have two elements like this. This is element 1 and this is element 2. Now if I use expanded on these two elements and give it flex 2 on this one and give it flex 1 on this one, what will happen? It will take twice more space than this one because it has flex 1 and it has flex 2. Similarly, if I give this one flex 3 and flex 1 on this one, then it will have 3:1 ratio. So it will be something like this. Okay. So it will be slightly bigger, this one, because it has flex 3. And this one will have 1. So yes, it will take something like this, I guess. Anyway, you got the point. Now back to our design. Let us run the project. Now back to our code, we have used expanded for the text and expanded for the image that we had in the slider. Now if you look closely, we have a problem. Our design, in the design, the image is full height, similar to the slider, right? But in our design, the image looks really small. So how do we fix that? Now, one way to fix that is right now, as you are seeing that the image has a spacing at the top, and that is because we have taken a padding right here. The container has a padding vertical 30. So the image cannot go more than this because there's a padding on top and there is a padding at the bottom. So what we can do, we can take the image outside this padding that we have. That means we have to take the image outside this container that we have taken. So let us do that. We will wrap our container in a row because the way we are thinking right now is this whole text will be one section, one element, and the image will be another element. The text needs padding, but our image doesn't need padding. So we are taking the image outside our container. So we can take a row and we can take our image outside this container right here. In that case, we don't have to use expanded right here. Or if I just hit save and see what happens. If I press save, there is an error which says box constraints force an infinite width. And that is because we have set our container to double dot infinity. But as a result, it is taking infinite space, right, in width. But we have an image which is not getting enough space. So what we can do right here, remove this expanded from here and give our container the expanded. So to explain again, this is the whole section, and in this section we have two elements, the text and the image. So we have taken row. Inside that row we have the text in a container and the image. Now restart the project. Okay, it worked, but we have another problem, and that problem is now the image doesn't have any background, and that is because we are giving the background only to the container of the text. So we can cut it from here. We can cut the complete decoration, box decoration, and wrap our entire row in the container, and then paste the box decoration that we have cut. Now if I hit save, it is working, but just like before, the text is taking a lot of space at the right, so it's not giving enough space to the image, and that's why we have this error showing right here. So we have to use expanded, which we already did, but the problem is the text is not breaking down. So in situation like this, what you have to do, you have to wrap your text in flexible. Now our text is in a column, so we can wrap our column in flexible widget. Hit save, and it is working nicely. Now we didn't, for the expanded of the text and the image, we didn't really give it a flex. We gave it flex for the image, but we didn't do that for the text widget, so we can give it flex too, and it will take more spacing like this. But it is still not okay because the image still has some spacing at the top and at the bottom, and that is because in our slider, the viewport fraction, we can set it to 1. And it is still taking some space, maybe increase it. Okay, I see what the problem is. Set the viewport fraction to 1, and for the image, we can say feet box fit dot feet height. So it will take as much space it can to fill the height of the image. Okay, now it looks a lot better. Little more spacing right here. We can use sized box for that. Give it a height maybe 5. Okay, that looks a lot better. Now our slider has margin at the top, should have some spacing from the search bar. In that case, we can use a sized box here. Give it a height of 20. Okay, that's a lot better. Now, if you noticed, we have a lot of code in this file, and if we continue to do other codes for the rest of the thing that we have under here, there will be like thousands of codes in this file, right? We don't want that. So we have to, break it down in separate files. How we can do that? The easiest way to do this is, so for example, if I want to separate the slider in a different file, first of all, I have to select the slider like this, click on it, and then click on this and say extract widget. Give your widget a name. It is going to be a class, so make sure to use camel case. So I will call it home slider. Hit enter, and then you will have a completely separate stateless widget, and that is returning your slider. So we want it in a different file and call that file in this file. So let me show you how to do that. First of all, I'm going to cut this. And inside the home folder, I will create another folder called components. Inside the components, I will create another file, call it home_slider. Dot and then paste the codes. We have to import the packages. Just hover over this and then click on quick fix and import the libraries. Hit save. And then in our homepage file, import the file that we have just created and hit save. And you have the same output. But right now, this file is much more cleaner. Similarly, we can create another widget for the top section. We can create a separate file for the search bar, right? We will do that in the future if necessary. For now, it looks good.